Welcome to this video tutorial on finding the coordinates of the circumcenter algebraically, which also means finding the equations of each of the perpendicular bisectors algebraically. We're starting with triangle ABC, whose vertices are specified. We need to calculate the midpoints first. We should all remember how to calculate the midpoints. It's the average x value, add them up and divide by 2, comma the average y value, add them up and divide by 2. We also specify the slopes, which we calculate by taking the rise over the run and listing those off. Once we've done that, we want the perpendicular bisectors of each of the segments of the triangle. So first, let's start with AB. If we want the perpendicular bisector, we need the line that goes through the midpoint perpendicular to that side. In that case, the midpoint is going to be -1/2, comma 2, and the slope is going to be the perpendicular slope, which in this case, the perpendicular slope to -2 would be 1/2, the opposite reciprocal. Once we've specified those items, we're going to plug into y equals mx plus b. The y is 2, the m we see is 1/2, x is -1/2 plus b. Now use your calculator if needed. 1/2 times a -1/2 is a -1/4. We add the 1/4 to both sides, and b is 9/4. So the equation of that line is going to be y equals 1/2 x plus 9/4. That is one of our perpendicular bisectors. Now we would need the perpendicular bisector of another segment of the triangle. Let's go with BC. So go back to your triangle. Now what we're looking at is BC right here. We want the perpendicular bisector like I drew in magenta. So we're going to use the midpoint, which is 9/2, comma 5. And we need the opposite reciprocal slope to 12/7. So that perpendicular slope should be a -7/12. Once we have those items specified, we plug into y equals mx plus b. Make sure not to make a typo. The slope is a -7/12. X is 9/2 plus b. Now, we can certainly use our calculator if needed here to make sure that we don't make silly mistakes. Ideally, the more things you can do mentally, the better. But this is going to be, I believe, a -21/8 because 9/12 simplifies to 3. 3 times 7 is 21 over 4. 4 times 2 is 8. We have our plus b there. We add the 21/8 to both sides, and that should be 61/8. So our equation for that perpendicular bisector will be y is equal to a -7/12 x plus 61/8. And we need one more side still, and that will be side AC. So now we come over here to AC. We want the perpendicular bisector. So we're going to use the midpoint, which is 3/8, with the opposite reciprocal slope. In this case, that should be a -5/3. Plug into y equals mx plus b. Make sure you don't make any typos here. The y is 8. The slope is -5/3. The x is 3. Oh, look at this. The 3's cancel. So that's pretty straightforward. B is going to equal 13. And so we get y equals a -5/3 x plus 13. So those are the equations of our three perpendicular bisectors. Now, if we want the coordinates of the circumcenter, we simply put these things into a system of equations. So we list each of the three equations in the system. we're trying to solve that system. Now we know all three lines should intersect at the same point. So I like to take two that look the nicest. In this case, the top and the bottom look simplest. Since their two left-hand sides are exactly the same, they're both y, we can set the two right-hand sides equal. Remember, that's the transitive property of equations. Then, if we want to get rid of the fractions, we can multiply through by a certain number to clear out a 2, a 4, and a 3. Well, 4 would work and a 3 would work, so if we multiply by 12, that ought to clear everything out. So multiplying through by 12, we would get 6x plus 27. Over here, we're going to have negative 20x, and then 13 times 12 is 156. Solving for x, so we can get the x's over on the left. We'll get the numbers on the right, 156 minus 27. It's going to be 129. And last but not least, we divide both sides by 26. So we get that x is 129 over 26. Look to see if that simplifies. And it doesn't. So that should be our value of x. Now, how do we check and make sure that that works and it's the correct solution? Well, we will plug back into each of our three equations. So down here, on the one hand, y equals 1/2 times 129/26 plus 9/4. And we'll type that in on our calculator and we should get one value of y. And when I type it in, ooh, interesting. I'm getting 123/26. Then we'll plug into the next equation. So second equation, y equals negative 7/12 times that x plus 61/8. Now this should give us the same value of y if we've done this problem correctly. So fingers crossed as we type this in. Negative 7/12 times 129 divided by 26 plus 61 divided by 8. We are getting 123/26. Nice. Now hopefully the last item checks out as well. So y equals a negative 5/3 times 129 over 26 plus 13. Fingers doubly crossed here. So negative 5/3 times 129 divided by 26 plus 13. Oh, nice. We're getting 123 over 26 as well. So our final answer would be that x is 129 over 26, as we already have circled up above, and y equals 123 over 26. So the ordered pair for the circumcenter of triangle ABC would be 129 over 26, comma, 123 over 26, and this work would support our final answer. Make sure it's clear that it checks in all three equations, and once it does, you should be pretty confident that you have the correct answer.